Good afternoon. My name is Lisa McCreary. For those of you who do not know me, I am the senior trainer here at Allstate Health Solutions, and I would like to thank all of you today for joining me. In this product training, we are going to be reviewing two types of plans today, and I will say these plans are very similar. We have the plan enhancer that we are going to be going over, as well as the TrioMed. You should note that both of these plans are accident medical expense plans, and they both offer riders, some very good riders for your clients. As you guys all know, all ACA plans and short-term medical plans, they all come with gaps, meaning that we can help our clients by showing them how they can protect themselves as well as their families from the high costs of things like deductibles, co-insurance, and max out of pocket. So these type of plans help with those things. And during this training, we're going to look at how these plans can do that and how these plans can fill those gaps. Now, I do want to let you guys know that as I go through this training, I will be using acronyms such as AME, CI, CIP, and CHS. So I want to review those with you now for those of you who are unfamiliar with those, so that we can make sure we're all on the same page during this training. So AME stands for Accident Medical Expense Plans. CI, I'm referring to critical illness. SIP, that is what I would consider the sickness inpatient. Some of you guys know that as sickness hospitalization. And then cancer, heart attack, and stroke is CHS. So right now, we're going to start our training off with the plan enhancer. So in reviewing this particular plan enhancer, we are going to review why should you choose the plan enhancer. We're going to look at the plan option, the plan details, as well as the resources that are available to both of the plans that we are going to be discussing with you today. And these resources are designed for both you as the agent, as well as for your clients as they are maneuvering their way through their plan. So why should you recommend the plan enhancer to your clients? Here are some interesting facts that can really help you and your clients see the benefit of having these plans. 2.5 million Americans are hospitalized every year due to injuries, and that is a fact. 26.9 million of Americans are treated for injuries in emergency room departments each and every year. And the average cost of an ER visit is not going down. Right now, it is $35,065. So it is not getting less expensive to get care when it comes to emergency situation. It's actually growing. So that is where our clients actually need our help. When your client purchased the plan enhancer policy, they will get coverage for accident-related health care costs. But in addition to that, this policy allows for policyholders to purchase an optional cancer, heart attack, and stroke rider, as well as a sickness inpatient rider. Now, when quoting your clients, please be advised that both riders are not always available in all states. So don't assume that what is available in one state is also available in another state. It's very important to make sure that you are looking at those plan brochures as well as the contracts to see exactly what is available in each particular state. Now let's take a look at some highlights when it comes to the Plan Enhancer. The Plan Enhancer plan offers a wide range of benefits from $2,500 to $7,500 in benefits. You can choose the best level to fit your customer's need. Now, this plan does pay cash benefits directly to your customer. And what many people don't know about the Plan Enhancer is that there are guaranteed issued features available with this particular plan. And we're going to go over that in a little bit during this training. The next thing we're going to take a look at is taking a deeper dive and looking at the plan options. And what I mean by, we're going to look at accident medical expense, what is included in that, as well as with our cancer, heart attack, and stroke, and our hospital sickness, or our SIP, sickness inpatient coverage. Now, when we talk about the accident expense coverage, this pays up to a selected dollar amount, whatever selected dollar amount your client chooses, regardless of any other coverage that they might have anyplace else. This does include accident, death, and dismemberment benefits. Now, something that is nice is that there are no network restrictions and there are no waiting periods. So that means that the policyholder can go to any hospital and is covered from day one after their premium has been paid. Now, the accident medical expense plan can be purchased on its own, or it can be purchased with the cancer, heart attack, and stroke rider, or the sickness inpatient rider. If they decide to choose the accident medical expense plan with the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, that is guaranteed acceptance. And a lot of people don't realize that that is even an option. And Jeff, yes, that is the dollar amount was, and I'll go back one slide so that you can take a look at that. The amounts are, let's see if I get there, $2,500 to $17,500. That's a nice benefit amount. So like I was saying, when it comes to the accident medical expense portion of it, that is a guaranteed acceptance. But what we're going to learn a little bit later, that guarantees acceptance does cross over to the cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Now, that is not the case for the sickness inpatient. The sickness inpatient does qualify for, or does require, medical questions, and we are going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, continuing on with the accident medical expense, a feature that is really nice with this plan is that with this particular plan, the deductible decreases every year. Now, you don't hear a lot about deductibles decreasing. You always hear about them increasing, but not necessarily decreasing. With the accident medical expense portion of this plan, year one, the deductible is $250. Year two, the deductible is $150. And then year three and after, the deductible is gone. There is no more deductible after that. In addition to that, there are increasing benefits when it comes to durable medical equipment, as well as ground ambulance benefits. So let's go into that a little bit. The durable medical equipment benefits, year one, will be $100. But in year two, that benefit increases to $150. Year three, that benefit goes to $200, and then year 3 and on, it continues to $200. Same for the ambulance, ground ambulance benefits. Year 1, the benefit is $300. Year 2, it's $600. And then year 3 and on, it is a whopping $900. Now, this is available only in the states that you see on your screen right now. So once again, make sure you're paying attention to the brochures to make sure that this is available. These features are available in the states in which you are quoting. I'm not quite understanding, Scott, what you're saying. You're saying that you're only seeing the green and white logo. Is that true for everyone else? Can you guys see my screen? It should say accident medical expense. Oh, you fixed it. So it's on your side. Okay. Glad you told me because you had me worried there. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with talking about the accident medical expense benefit levels that comes with this particular portion of the plan. Like I said earlier, it starts at $2,500 and it goes up to $17,500. That makes this an excellent plan for someone with a high deductible, such as an ACA plan. A lot of us don't think about selling this as with our ACA plans. Now, what I'm going to say about that is that if you guys know about the ACA plans, the individual deductible right now on an ACA plan for 2023 is $9,100. You got it, Brian, you got it. Family, it's a whopping $18,200. This can be a huge help in filling in the gaps for those plans because those are extremely high deductibles, especially when the average American has, only about $1,000 saved in their savings account. So this can be a great benefit to those clients. Now, once again, just like with all insurance products, and I say this a lot because I want you guys to realize this, you should note that the availability of these dollar amounts do vary by state. So once again, make sure you're paying attention to all of your brochures and the state availability charts that are available on the Allstate website. And we'll talk about the Allstate website in a little bit. I'm going to take a look at this question. That is correct, Josie. It will show just that when you're quoting and you're using the website. Great tip, it's only going to show what is available within that zip code. So that is a very good tip that you are giving folks, that if they're on that website on Coverage Builder, they are going to only be quoted what is available. But some of us actually have conversations and we're not on the website. And in those situations, then we want to make sure we have those brochures in front of us. So now what we want to do is we want to take a look at an example when it comes to dealing with the AME portion of the plan enhancer. So in this example, Mark and his son, they were doing a little bit of painting, and unfortunately, Mark fell off the ladder and broke his hand. Mark does have a medical plan with a $3,000 deductible, and he is in his second year of his $5,000 plan enhancer. So if he's in his second year, that means that it diminishes. His deductible is only going to be $150. That's a wonderful thing, less money that he will have to pay. So in this example, his medical cost is $4,500. His primary plan deductible is $3,000. And then he has that deductible that he will have to pay for his AME, which is $150. And then his accident medical expense plan with the plan enhancer is going to pay that $4,350, leaving him a remaining benefit of $1,350. So now what I want to take a look at is the cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Now, one thing you want to note is that the cancer, heart attack, and stroke rider does match the AME benefit amount. So if the AME benefit amount is $8,000, then the cancer, heart attack, and stroke will also be $8,000. Now, this plan does pay a one lump sum benefit for first ever covered cancer diagnosis and first ever covered heart attack and stroke diagnosis. So remember, it's first ever diagnosis is not, they can't have multiple times where they've had cancer or heart attacks and expect to be covered. This is a guaranteed issue as long as it is sold with the plan enhancer. So they have to come together in order for this cancer, heart attack, and stroke rider to be guaranteed. Now, note that the waiting period is going to be 90 days for cancer and 30 days for the heart and stroke portion of this plan. When we're looking at both the waiting periods, this also varies by state as well. So make a mental note of that. So let's take a quick look at an example dealing with the cancer, heart attack, and stroke portion of this type of benefit. So here we have Oscar, and after a routine colonoscopy, Oscar finds out that he has colon cancer. He has a primary medical plan of $5,000 with a maximum out-of-pocket limit and a $5,000 plan enhancer, but he has the cancer and heart attack and stroke rider. Now, his treatment costs for getting this taken care of is $14,019. His primary medical plan will pay $9,019, and then his cancer and heart attack stroke pays $5,000, leaving him with nothing due. So everything at this point is covered. So now we're going to take a look at the sickness hospitalization rider. And I'm not ignoring questions or comments, guys. I want to get through the presentation. Many of your questions are going to be answered as I go through the presentation. So I will go back and look to make sure that I am answering those questions as well. So with the sickness hospitalization rider, it's just like really with the critical illness, with the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, the SIP matches the AME benefit amount. It pays a lump sum benefit for the first day of coverage within the hospital. The hospital stay must be more than 24 hours to qualify for this benefit. Now, with this particular benefit, there are two. One benefit is paid per year per person, two benefits per year per family, and there is a 30-day waiting period for this particular rider. This cannot be sold as a standalone. Just like with the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, it cannot be sold as a standalone. This is not a guaranteed issue product, which means that health questions are required and there are pre-existing limitations that do apply, and I will go over that in a little bit. But remember, there are no network restrictions with this particular with this particular rider, which is also a very nice thing because your clients can go to any hospital or doctor that they choose to. Okay, so looking at an example with this particular situation with the sickness inpatient, Donna here was admitted into the hospital with pneumonia. She has a primary medical plan with a $5,000 out-of-pocket limit and a $5,000 plan enhancer with the sickness inpatient rider. Now, her treatment cost was $9,300. Her primary medical plan pays $4,300, and then her sickness hospitalization will pay $5,000, leaving the remaining out-of-pocket costs at $0. So now we're going to take a look at the plan eligibility, the state eligibility, some of the limitations and exclusions, and then we're going to later look at the enrollment and the payment options that you have when purchasing this plan or when your clients are purchasing this plan. Now, when looking at the eligibility of this plan, the primary applicant must be for the accident medical expense must be up to the age of 65. You do have child-only policies available. With the cancer and heart attack and stroke, as well as the sickness inpatient rider, the primary applicant must be between the ages of 18 through 64, and there are no child-only policies that are available. On this screen, you will see the various states where this plan is available. Like I said earlier, there are exceptions to where the sickness hospitalization, as well as the cancer, heart attack, and stroke is available. So that does vary by state, as well as the plan itself does vary by state. I'll leave it here just for a second so you can take a look. Okay, so now let's look at some of the limitations and exclusions when it comes to the AME portion of the plan enhancer plan. So please note, this is not a comprehensive list of all the limitations and exclusions. In order to find that, you have to go to the brochure, which you would find at allstatehealth.com, or you can take a look at the actual contract. But here are some, and this is just for the AME portion. So here's some of the limitation. Anything prior to the effective date obviously will not be covered. Dental treatments, unless it was due to an accident, is not covered. Hernias and heat exhaustion, not covered. Mental or emotional disorders are not covered. Intentional inflicted self-injury, war, or any acts of war is not covered. Dangerous activities and occupations are not covered. I just got that as a question from an agent just yesterday. If someone is skydiving and doing the bungee jumping and all of that different stuff, that is not rodeo riding. Those are things that will not be, injuries from that will not be covered. Now let's take a look at the limitations and exclusions for the riders for the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, as well as the sickness inpatient. For the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, there is a 24-month pre-existing condition. So we look back 24 months to see if there's anything that we need to be concerned about. If there is, it is not covered. Diagnosis prior to the effective date obviously is not covered. If someone is using illegal drugs or substance abuse, not covered. When it comes to the waiting periods, it does vary by state. So if you look at the screen right now, there is a 90-day waiting period for cancer and a 30-day waiting period for heart and stroke in the states that are listed. Now, in the state of Alabama, there is only a 60-day wait period for cancer and a 30-day wait period for heart attack and stroke. And then for the state listed below, when it comes to the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, there is a 30-day waiting period for both cancer and the heart attack and stroke for the states listed below. Now looking at the sickness hospitalization, we have a 12-month pre-existing condition look back. Behavioral or substance abuse is not covered. Weight control, not covered. Self-inflicted injuries, not covered. Can't get that cosmetic surgery, not covered. If you're hospitalized due to that, that will not be covered. Treatment outside a hospital, obviously not covered. No backyard treatment here. Wars or active war, not covered. And then in the states that you see listed here, there is a 30-day wait in the states that we see listed on here. And once again, my disclosure is for a more comprehensive list, make sure you're looking at that brochure. So as a recap, when we're talking about the plan enhancer, the plan enhancer is an AME plan, so it has that accident medical expense. There is a $250 deductible. It starts with $250. It diminishes to $150 after year 1. So year 2, it is $150. In year 3 and on, it is $0. The cancer and heart attack and stroke is available, and it is also available as a guaranteed issue. Sickness hospitalization is also available, and it is available as a guaranteed issue. There are a wide range of benefit levels that are available. We've gone over those. No network restrictions, so your clients can choose any doctor or hospital that they choose, and we are located in a large number of states. Something that I do want to make mention when it comes to the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, as well as the sickness hospitalization, there is no deductible for either one of those. The deductible applies toward the accident medical expense. So there is no deductible for the cancer, heart attack, and stroke rider, as well as the sickness inpatient. Okay, so let's keep it going, because we still have a lot more to cover. So now let's turn over to the TrioMed. You are very welcome. Let's turn over to the TrioMed. We're now going to take a look at the plan design. We're going to look at the plan detail, as well as some of the resources that are available. And like I said, the TrioMed is another accident AME plan, accident medical expense plan, and it's very, very helpful to have for your clients. Now, when it comes to the TrioMed, why you want to select this, mainly because employer-sponsored plans, really the deductibles on those plans are getting higher, whereas the benefits are becoming less every single year. As a result, an estimated 41 million Americans are underinsured. Each year, 530,000 Americans declare personal bankruptcy, and it's due to medical bills. That is something that is used. I recently heard something where 61% of all bankruptcies are due to medical bankruptcies. So there's a lot of help that you guys can offer to your clients out there when it comes to helping with the costs of medical bills. So let's look at a few highlights when it comes to the TrioMed. The TrioMed helps customers cover unexpected medical costs. There are 3 types of coverage in one plan. So you have the accident medical expense in cases of accidents, you have the critical illness, and then you also have the accident, death, and dismemberment. Now, you do have also a standard issue as well as a guaranteed issue. And we're going to go over the differences between those in a second. Right now, we're going to look at the benefit levels, and then we're going to take a deep dive in each one of those different types of benefits, the AME, the CI, and the ADD. So when looking at the guaranteed issue portion of TrioMed, you have 3 benefit levels that you can choose from: $2,500, $5,000, or $10,000. Now, these benefit amount applies to each type of coverage: the AME, the CI, as well as the accident, death, and dismemberment. When we're looking at the standard issue, and remember, the standard issue does require medical questions to be answered. The accident medical expense is $5,000. The accident, death, and dismemberment benefit is $5,000, but the policyholder gets to choose between the critical illness with the critical illness of $15,000 or $30,000. So I'm going to go back so that we get a clear understanding of this. With the guaranteed issue, there are 3 benefit amounts: $25,000, $5,000, and $10,000, and you have 3 types of coverage: AME, critical illness, as well as the accident, death, and dismemberment. With the standard issue, for the accident medical expense and the death and dismemberment benefits, it's a $5,000 benefit level, but they can choose higher levels for the critical illness benefit, all the way up to $30,000. So let's first look at the accident medical expense. When looking at the accident medical expense, this pays covered expenses up to the selected benefit amount per injury. Now, just like with the plan enhancer, it has a $250 deductible, but mind you, it doesn't have that diminishing deductible. So it's a $250 deductible for each incident or each accident, and there's no limit on the number of covered accidents that the client has to worry about. In the event of a covered accident, the customer must seek treatment within 31 days, and they must receive their follow-up care within 26 weeks in order to reap the benefits of this particular plan. So in looking at a example here, we have John. Now, John isn't the dog, but the dog probably caused much of the problem. John was out walking his dog. He tripped and fell and broke his hand. Now, John has a medical plan with a $5,000 deductible, and he purchased a TrioMed plan with a $5,000 benefit for AME coverage. His medical cost was $4,500. The primary plan deductible was $5,000, and the accident medical expense paid $4,225, minusing that deductible out of $250, which leaves an out-of-pocket cost that John would be responsible for of $250. That's a great benefit. I mean, like going from $4,500 all the way to $250, I'll take that any day. So let's now take a look at the critical illness portion of it. The critical illness portion, there are three categories of coverage when it comes, and we're going to go over those three categories of coverage. It pays a lump sum cash benefit, the benefit payable upon first diagnosis of a covered critical illness. Just like with the plan enhancer, it has to be that first diagnosis. Once again, there's no deductible, no waiting period, and no network restrictions to satisfy. So now what we're looking at are the three different categories when it comes to the critical illness portion of this particular TrioMed policy. Now, in the event of the first diagnosis of one of these covered critical illness, TrioMed will provide a lump sum cash benefit to the policyholder up to the chosen benefit amount. If your medical bill is less than your chosen benefit amount, the policyholder can use the leftover funds in any way that they choose to use those funds. Now, what's nice about this policy is that this plan pays one cash benefit per category with 3 lump sum payments available. Now, that is really nice. There's no deductible to satisfy, and there's no network restrictions that are necessary to satisfy as well. So let's take a look at the different categories. So category 1, you have 100% payout for heart attack, stroke, and major organ transplants. In category 1, you also have a 25% payout for coronary bypass surgery or heart valve replacement or repair. Category 2, 100% payout for invasive cancer, meaning that the cancer has metastasized and spread to neighboring tissue or organs. Then you have a 25% payout for cancer in situ. What that means is that the cancer has not spread to neighboring tissue or neighboring organs. One thing that you want to note that the benefit amount is reduced to 10% of the maximum allowed benefit if the diagnosis is occurred within the first 90 days for the cancer in situ portion. So there is a reduction there if it's diagnosed within the first 90 days. Category 3 has 100% payout for all of the following: end-stage renal failure, major organ transplant, Alzheimer's, coma, ALS, paralysis, and severe burns. So here is an example for you guys. If a client is having a really, really bad year, and this is what I really like about this plan, and say in January, this client has a heart attack and is diagnosed with cancer in May, and then is severely burned in an accident in September, this policy will pay out for each of those covered conditions, okay? So real quickly, are stents covered? Now that is Luann, that's a very, very specific question. What I will tell you though is that how can I say this? I want to make sure I say this correctly. Partial blockage. So down here, if you see here, this partial blockages are not covered. So it's full blockages that are covered. So when you say stents, are they covered? That is one of those questions you really probably are going to have to take a deep dive and really research to see if they're covered. But I can tell you that partial blockages I know are not covered. It's complete blockages. Okay, so with the critical illness portion of this, the amount payable to the beneficiaries is 100% for the primary, 50% for the covered spouse, and 25% for the children. Now, the maximum allowed benefit amount reduces by 50% at age 65, but the coverage continues up until the age of 70. So they can have this up until the age of 70. It's just that the benefit amount does reduce by 50% at the age of 65. Now, here is a pro tip that you might want to consider. If your client wants to make sure that both him or her spouse is covered at 100%, it might be a good idea to have a policy for both one spouse as well as the other spouse, so that both spouses can get, if spouses is a word, can get 100% coverage. So that's something you want to consider, because as you can see with this plan, if you only get one family policy, the spouse is only going to be covered for 50%. And some households have two spouses that are responsible for income into the house. So it would be devastating if one only receives 50%. So I wanted to point that out to you as well. Mindy, that's beautiful. That's a very best practice. You were ahead of me on that one. Okay, so if an individual person passes away or suffers dismemberment due to a covered accidental injury, TrioMed will pay the elected benefit amount based on the covered condition. So lump sum benefits are not restricted to medical expenses. The policy holder can really use the funds in a wide variety of ways to take care of unexpected out-of-pocket costs. But the benefit amounts for coverage for covered injury, they do range from 25% to 100%, depending on the injury. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So here you see the accident, death, and dismemberment payout amount. So depending on the face amount of the policy holders are paid 100% for the following conditions. We have accidental death, loss of entire sight in both eyes, loss of both hands, loss of speech and hearing in both ears. 50% is paid out of the face amount if we're looking at loss of one hand and 1 foot, or loss of one hand or 1 foot, loss of one hand or 1 foot and entire sight in one eye, loss of speech or hearing in both ears. 25% payout is available for loss of hearing in one ear, loss of toes on the same foot, and then loss of thumb and index finger on the same hand. So these are the percentages of the payouts when it comes to the accident, death, and dismemberment. And some people think that, a lot of agents I've heard don't even talk about the accidental death and dismemberment portion of it. But I will tell you, if you're dealing with someone who's a farmer, who works, maybe works as a construction person or use heavy and dangerous type of equipment, this is something they want to know about. So make sure you're telling those clients about that stuff. Okay, so once again, with accident, death, and dismemberment, here is the payable. How the payable amounts are dispersed between the family. The primary insurance. Let's try this again. The primary policyholder will receive 100% payouts. The covered spouse will also receive 100% payouts. And then the child that is covered will receive 50% payout up till the age of 26. So the Life Association membership does come along with this particular policy when it is written. So for those of you who don't know the benefit of having that life association policy, it really is important. And you might get this as a question from your clients. Do I really need to have this? And really the answer is yes, because if they don't have it, first of all, the price will be more expensive. And what the Life Association does is that it allows for the participants in the Life Association to be considered a group, which means that pricing is controlled as a group and no individual can be kicked out of the group or their policy can be discontinued because they are a part of this Life Association. Now, the Life Association does have some wonderful benefits that your client should know about. They will receive a separate packet of information that will outline these benefits. You should make that well known to your client. They will have TrioMed for life, which connects them to a licensed physician via phone or video 24/7, and they have unlimited consultations. They also have the Life Mental and Wellness. I really like that feature of it because not many times you see that where they can connect with a licensed counselor via phone or video. We also have the discounts on direct labs and lifeline screenings. And then something that I use and I love is the Active and Fit. I pay only $25 a month. I get to go to my gym. I get to use all of the programs within my gym. If I don't feel like going to the gym, I have videos on demand that I can watch, and that's all just for $25. I absolutely love it. You also have discounts on services that include personal concierge, cell phone repair, and this is really nice for our pet lovers out there, which is the veterinary health telehealth specialist is also available with this. The one thing that I do want to make sure that you guys are aware, or a couple of things I want you to be aware of. If your client decides to cancel their policy, make sure they don't assume that the Life Association is also canceled, because it is not. The Life Association will continue, and they do have to cancel that. Otherwise, they will continue to receive a bill for that Life Association. So that's really important. And then for those of you who are selling this product with other products, such as a short-term medical, that also has a life association, you cannot be double charged for the life association. So if the short-term medical has a life association fee and obviously the life association has a fee, your client will only be charged for one of those fees. So one is discounted off. You should note that the Life Association is a not-for-profit member-only organization which provides members with life-related benefits and discounts. It is important for you to note that the Life Association membership benefits do vary by state. So it's not the same in every state, nor is it required in every state as well. So did want to make sure I mentioned that as well. Okay, so, and I'm going to get to you guys' questions. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to get through the presentation. The next thing that we're going to talk about is eligibility, state availability. We're also going to look at the limitations and exclusions and then the enrollment process. So when it comes to eligibility for the TrioMed, the primary applicant needs to be between the ages of 18 and 64 at the time of the application. Children up to the age of 26 can be on their parents' plan. Standard issue plans require applicants to fill out a health questionnaire. I've said that several times. There is guaranteed renewability up to the age of 70, but remember, as I said earlier, critical illness benefits are reduced by 50% at the age of 65. Okay, here we see that we have the state availability chart. You guys can take a look at this as well. And just remember, benefits do vary by state. Can't say that enough. When we talk about the limitations and exclusions, many of these are the same as what I've mentioned earlier. Full-time service in the armed forces, not covered. Intentional self-inflicted injury or harm or loss, not covered. You can't go rob a bank and do an illegal act and expect to be covered. If you are participating in dangerous activities, not covered. College sports, semi-pro, as well as professional sports. This policy would not be a policy they should look at. Eligible for Medicare. So if they're eligible for Medicare, they are not covered except for the AME portion. So you can sell this to someone who is on Medicare, but it's only the AME, not the critical illness. Disability and workers' compensation obviously is not covered because that is covered through workers' compensation. Enrollment, guys, any date between the 1st and the 31st, and can be as soon as the very next day. Initial payment can be any time between the time of the application, but before the effective date. Reoccurring payments can be between the 1st and the 28th of the month. And forms of payment includes EFTs, which is that electronic funds transfers from a bank account using the account number and the routing number. Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. As you guys know, American Express is not on the list. Now, quickly, let's look at some of the resources that are available to you as agents, as well as to your members. Where you want to go to get much of the information that I was talking about. If you guys really want to get deep into understanding the limitations and all the parameters within this plan, go to allstatehealth.com. You're going to then look at this agent broker section. And then from there, it's actually going to take you where you can get all these different resources, which includes your agent back office. It includes your marketing material that I've mentioned several times. And if you want to look at YouTube videos on this product or any other product, you can go to the YouTube videos that are available through this area here. If you select this and then go to YouTube videos. For your members, they also are able to go to this website, and here they can find doctors, they can get general questions answered, they can also submit claims, and then it's also the access point to my Allstate Health Solutions.com, which is where they can do many things. One is complete their application process with you, sign all necessary documents that needs to be signed. They also can go and view the policy documents. They can check their current and past payments. They can go in and check their payment method. And then, of course, people get anxious about those ID cards. Let them know they can go there and get a temporary one until they get their actual card. So as a reminder about the TrioMed, great products. Both of these are awesome products. If you are not selling one of these products with every one of your short-term medical plans as well as your ACA plans, as long as your customer can afford it and it's right for them, you're doing an injustice, guys. This TrioMed plan has an AME, which is an accident medical expense, critical illness, accident, death, and dismemberment coverage, all combined in one plan. There's a $250 AME only deductible. There are 3 possible critical illness payouts. You have guaranteed issue that is available. This is offered through the Life Association, and there are benefits with that. And then in addition to that, this is available in a large number of states. So right now, what I am going to do is take a look, and you got it, Jeff, $19.50 a month. That is absolutely true. Semi-pro, Michael, is considered like, I had an old boyfriend that did semi-pro. He played college, was very good in college, but he didn't make going into pro. But semi-pro is actually a very competitive, they travel all over the United States playing sports, but in a semi-pro. It's not, it's not, I don't talk sports very well, but I just know it's not televised, but they definitely do have a strong following. So it is a big thing for those people who didn't make it to the pros. So in continuing with the training, I always want to remind you, why do you want to choose Allstate Health Solutions? Well, because we're a great company. We have roots that date back to 1939. We've been given an A+ rating by AM Best, and we specialize in both short-term medical and supplemental insurance plans. So that's why you want to choose Allstate Health Solutions. And there you go, guys. For those of you where I did not answer your question, or it wasn't clear, or you need additional information, I am here for all of you. Just reach out to me at ngahtraining@ngic.com, and I will get those questions answered for you. That is going to do it for today's training. You guys have a fabulous rest of the day.